All right, guys. I just want to begin with a word of prayer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to delay this anymore. Hopefully, everyone comes on quickly. So let me see. So I'm just going to begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for bringing us here today. We ask,
Yes,
Lord,
Lord.
that you would cover us under your blood, help us and strengthen us as we embark on this section. And we declare, Lord, that it shall flow smoothly, that everything will go according to your will and way. Even though this is a different way that we are doing the live now than we are accustomed to, we declare, Lord God, that it shall be impactful and it shall run effectively in the mighty name of Jesus. We give you thanks and praise for doing it. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right. So everybody's aware of why we're meeting, yeah? We even had a little practice run beforehand just to get people in gear or in ready, I should say, for what is about to happen. So as everyone logs on, feel free to share your comments. Feel free to, let us know any questions that you have for the mails. I have some very good friends of mine here, and we're going to try to answer them as best as possible. But please note that, you know, um, we're married men, and as a result, don't let us get in any trouble with our wives, man. We beg you.
It's true.
Don't let
You
us get
know,
in any trouble with our wives, man. Yeah. This is the male brain, all right, guys? The
yeah.
female brain is supposed to happen. Actually, it was supposed to happen next week, but we're going to ask to push that back just a bit because that's actually my wife's birthday weekend. So we may be finding some way to celebrate. And as a result, we ask that, just bear with us. The following week, we'll be back with the female brain. We had this discussion in this forum before, and when we were discussing having the female brain, we joked at the fact that the male brain may be an hour to an hour and a half, but the female brain, yeah,
2 weeks.
I'll just leave that there. I'll just leave that there. Yeah, female brain may go on for a bit longer.
Energizer Bunny.
All right, so let's get started. The idea behind this session is really to give some insight into what it is that the males are thinking. John Mark, you're still frozen, so we're actually. Should we wait until you get back?
No, you be good to go.
I prefer to see movement though.
You prefer you want to see me?
Yeah, I prefer to see rather than the still shot that you got right now.
I come in here, buddy. Bot here with you. Bot here with you. See? Technology.
Yeah. Actually, give me a second just to put this in the bio. See if this is people that are trying to get on. Just change this so that bio. For everybody that's coming over from Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you need to put on Insta also.
Yeah. So yeah, we here. The idea behind this session is to really show what we as males think, or how we as males think, and is supposed to give some insight into our rationale for doing things. I may be biased, but I think that males are a little more rational in their decisions. I'm not sure if you would agree with me, but as a men's
Let's leave him on a limb out there, man.
Huh?
Let's leave him on a limb out there, man.
Are you frozen again, John?
I
Yeah, we need to see him moving.
just sharing on the Instagram page. Be there in a minute.
Okay, no problem. All right. So yeah, the idea is to give some insight into how we think. And hopefully after this session, you'll be able to understand a little more into how we think and therefore be a little more lenient with us, We're going to run through some scenarios and how we approach them. And as a result, we're asking that you share your ideas or opinions in the comment section. We will read them live. That's no problem. See, everybody's saying that, Everything be ready. Jamisha Hoyt. Bro Nice saying hello. So hi guys. We are definitely on. We're definitely ready. So we're looking forward to hearing everything that the guys have to say. I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys today. So yeah, guys, if you don't mind, I would just take it that everyone knows me already, but I shouldn't. So my name is Romain. I am a married man, a happily married man. I was married, my lovely wife, and she's watching this, so I'm trying to get as much points as possible.
I
Grab the points
can
right
there
now.
with the broom.
I was married to my lovely wife on the 21st of January 2017. This year we celebrated our 3rd anniversary, and we have a son on the way. So I am a very happy camper at this point in time. I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves, just so everybody will know who you are.
Okay, I'm Maurice Ford. I can say within the crew, I'm the most recently married, 1 year and months. You know, entrepreneur. Yeah, and just enjoying marriage right now. Yeah,
Wonderful.
enjoying marriage.
Wonderful. Who next?
All right, I'm Russell Williams. I've been married for 2 years and a bit, going to be 3 years in August. And we've recently had a baby in December, so that's what's new.
Boom! Hey!
In my marriage journey.
Okay. And John Mark is here for the experience.
Yeah, I just here for the experience. Hi, Pastor Jean-Marc Crocodile. I've been married for 14 and some years. I have 2 beautiful kids. I want to take the opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. Yeah, and that's about it. I have a bit of experience, probably a little more experience than the other guys, so we can bring both ends of marriage and the male brain together today.
Wonderful. All right. So first off, I want us to discuss how we thought of marriage before and how we think of marriage now. Has there been any difference really in our perspective of marriage? I would have addressed this in my life with my wife before. And I can tell you off the bat, for me, there are some things that you have to get to know when you get to know them. In other words, it isn't until you are in a situation where you're living with your wife that you would really get to understand everything about. Like, I learn something new about my wife every day. I'm sure my wife learns something new about me every day. And it's interesting. I would have shared with you a few things that to me I found strange that my wife would have done. And I think that you can't really prepare for that. You have to go through it in order to say, okay, I know now that she has this weird quality, and you just live with it after that. But is there anything on your end that you would say you had to get used to your wife doing and live with it?
You gotta say a unique quality, not a weird quality.
Unique.
Russell, I find you are too much of a friend. You allow him to get hanged a little later. Allow him to get hanged later, right?
Tell me what is. Or tell me the unique qualities in your wife.
All right, I ain't sure if it's a quality, but what I could share is something that I was not accustomed to. My wife prefers to sleep with the light on in the house. I'm a guy, I don't really care. Darkness is my thing.
In the house period or in the bedroom?
In the house. A light in the house. So most of the times you sleep with the bathroom light on. That makes her feel better. It's neither here nor there for me, but I learned to live with it.
Interesting. Okay, well, we like Bill's light, John. We gotta talk about that separately.
Yeah.
Oh, right, boy. So, what you guys?
I guess something for me that was a little bit weird at first is whenever you go into like a wardrobe, my wife wants the wardrobe door shut back, like kind of as soon as you're finished, which is different because things you would just like go in and take out a shirt and then the door would be open and you go back in the bathroom or something, or things like you would even forget to door open as a single man, you know? And that was something. It was just like, all right, we need to do this. We need to work on this. You need to shut these up. You take out
wardrobe door.
Huh?
You had to actively work on shutting the wardrobe door.
Every single time. Yes, I had to work on that. I was probably doing it like maybe eight out of 10 times. I had it covered 8 out of 10 times. But those 2 times, the other 2 times would get me in trouble.
Well, I could give you a quick tip to get that solved. If you took off your wardrobe door totally, right? There won't be any door.
Luckily, it didn't reach there. It didn't reach there.
It's the way I made the stick. No, we take off the whole wardrobe door.
Take off your wardrobe door, solve your problem.
I do it 9 times out of 10 now, so I get better.
Okay.
Anything for you, Maurice?
I hear thinking, you know, it's like the main thing for me was, well, from being single to, you know, having that person there every day, you know, it's like, yeah. But I am a more easy to please, you know, so there are not many things that really jump out that really stick with me, except for the driving. You gotta be careful. Right there, you know. So being the main person who drives, you know, the way she drives is like to hold your tongue, you know. No script.
Yeah. We have that experience. Anybody, my wife has got that experience in the kitchen. You'll be cooking, and my wife will just be like, so you don't want to do X and Y, you don't want to not sort that, you don't want to. I don't know. My wife is a backseat driver when it comes to cooking. Anybody's got that experience?
Well,
yeah, it's
How you cope with that? Because I need help.
You got to ask her to leave the kitchen.
The person in the kitchen, right? When my wife is cooking, or because I bake, you know, she comes in the kitchen, she's like, all right, let me give you space. As I would say, no, flip it this way. No, so when it comes to the kitchen stuff, I'm the backseat driver. So I don't know how to tell you there, buddy.
I see.
Actually, what I found that works is like, all right, I can handle this. You help me with the washing up. And we work as a team like that. It's like, I cut up what I need to cut up. I give her something to wash. I go back cooking.
I can do the cooking, you do the washing up.
Yeah.
And it's where the other way around too, when she do the cooking, you do the washing up.
I do majority cooking.
All right. I don't know you wash up. But yeah. So from your perspective, John, I know you're the man with the experience.
I mean, in terms of this whole cooking and washing up thing?
No, just generally how you cater. Wait, you just do cooking, right, John?
Yeah, very rare, no, but yeah, yeah. Well, my son right now, he cooked this morning. He did breakfast and yeah, he did breakfast and invited his grandmother, his aunt over and stuff. So you see, my setup is a little different to yours in terms of I have a little more support, or I have a little more responsibility. One of the things that I would say early out front, is that we were aware that even though Russell may say he do the majority of cooking and his wife would do the washing up and it may work for him, if you try that at your house, you may have problems.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, maybe it's a good idea, but every brush don't work in every home. There's some good ideas, and you know, you say, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, we got some households where I believe we were going to get into it later, but we could get into it now, where we talk about male roles and female roles, because I feel like, I don't know, roles are what we make them to be. Roles are relative, in my opinion. It's relative. Where, I believe that I do think that some roles fit a man. I'm not even going to lie, and some roles, I can't say some roles fit female, I guess, but I'm just thinking about the male perspective right now, so I won't venture into that side. I do feel like some roles fit a man. For instance,
such as
yeah. So for instance, we had a situation where so we cleared our garage and we enclosed it so that we can use it as a storage room for the baby that's on his way. And we wanted to make sure we clear a room in the house, or an extra room, just have the house really spick and span. So by the time the baby gets here, everything is, nice. So we cleared that, we set up the garage so that everything can go in the garage. And once everything went in the garage, we will have the additional space in the house. But I realized I put the dog food in the garage a time, and I came back and I realized the bottom of the bag had a little hole. And when I opened the door quickly, another time I opened the door quickly, and I saw this little mouse run. I was like, we never had a mouse before. And all of a sudden we got a mouse as soon as we put these things in the garage. So I didn't see that as a role for my wife to go and get rid of the mouse. I saw that as a man role. I personally took it upon myself to go and get rid of the mouse. And I think there are certain things that men should do, like security. If somebody breaking this house, I hide it behind my wife and tell she, yo, go and check and see who's that there. I think as a man, we got a role to play in security of our household.
It's natural.
There's no way that, again, somebody came to my house and they're like, honey, you gotta check and see who that is. And they can eat bathroom or saying a story that I hear is the man that play sheep on top of your head. Because you didn't want the boy hitting in the head. I really understand it. But yeah. So I can't be that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta be the security legend. But you can share your perspective on it.
I think what you're saying is true, but what John was saying is that every marriage is different and everyone is different, So you may see something in someone else's marriage that wouldn't work in yours, but I think it's best just not to judge it, because it's like if that's working fine for them and it's healthy, let them continue doing it.
Correct.
I got to tell you, I judging in my head, because in my mind, anytime I see a man that God send his wife to safeguard the household, in my head, I know what she's judging. I'm lying. Lord, give me.
But suppose she's an officer, she got some big strappy with me.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but you don't even know if she has training in terms of self-defense,
exactly.
karate, judo, anything of the sort.
You'll be an MMA fighter.
Correct.
Could be.
Around the Rosie husband,
Yeah, I really know about it.
But in terms of roles, though, Romain, like for me, I like to do laundry. Yeah. I'm the person that is seen as a woman's role.
But you know start Maurice?
Pardon?
Who you doing start?
Okay, right. But I do like to do the laundry sometimes. I like my mom taught me, to do these things. So I would go hang out the clothes, no problem. And my neighbors, and the neighbor will look out and say, like, what's he hang out the clothes? But because usually women will go and hang out the clothes. But yeah, I have no problem doing laundry.
Interesting.
If it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah.
I always had the discussion with my wife. If we go by another couple or what have you, and we saw the man inside washing the dishes and the lady outside cutting the grass, I shouldn't come home and say, man, listen, Suzanne is cutting grass over by Jim. What happened? You don't cut my grass over here? Because it don't work for us. It works for them. And she may be an outside person. She may like to get her hands in the dirt. She may like to be in the sun or what have you. Well, Jim is a guy who likes the inside of the house. It works for them. So it's a kind, and that's because it works for them, just to take it from there and to bring it into my marriage. It could cause friction because we have different personalities, we have different likes, we have different tastes or what have you. And you just got to work with knowing the person.
So just to be clear, even in situations of security, you all believe that if it works for them,
come on.
Yeah, if it works for them, it works for them.
It should be a meal
If
thing.
it works for them, but it not work for you.
Cool. It definitely ain't working for me, but cool. Like I heard of a situation, and this is a real life situation. I actually think it happened here in Barbados as well, where this lady was being abused in her relationship, and the police was called in, and when the police got there, the husband was in a wheelchair, and I can't for the life of me understand things like you got beat from a man in a wheelchair. What happened to running? I don't know. These just things that I've been open with that's good through my mind. I don't understand how you get abused from a man in a wheelchair, but I digress. in a situation like that, I probably could understand how a female could be the security aspect of things, but I don't know. I can't sympathize with you guys. It's sorry. I feel like it's the man's role, man. Even if he was the smaller one of the two, you got the most heart. Just
well, yeah. In most cases, though, I think in most cases, in terms of security, the man will be the person to step up to the plate.
Okay, great. Now there's a common saying that I want to get right into addressing, and this saying is the talk that many women have heard it time and time before. Many women say all men are dogs. All men are dogs. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Men have some
Delete
characteristics.
John Mark off of this life.
Nah, men have some characteristics like dogs. You don't agree? Men have some characteristics that are similar to dogs. I mean,
no, I don't agree.
Share it, Jamar.
Yeah, explain this. I can't find the delete button.
I just mean like loyalty, right? Loyalty is a characteristic you'll find in a dog. It says man's best friend. You know what I'm saying? That's I say a man is loyal. Any man that's worth his salt is loyal to his family.
Yeah.
Protects his family like a dog will protect the owner. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you want to call us a dog from that point of view, I would agree with you.
I don't think that's the point of view to call me a dog from.
I don't think that either.
No problem.
So from their perspective,
all the things that they're saying that men are dogs about in terms of broken relationship, not taking that responsibility and all that stuff, dogs don't do.
That what? Say again.
All these things, right?
Wait, is it a coincidence that dog's barking right now?
Yeah, probably. All these things that women would say would attribute a man to being a dog in terms of he like 4 or 5 women, he's not loyal, he's not committed, he don't handle his responsibilities or what have you. Those are not attributed to a dog. I mean, the animal of a dog. That's far from what.
We're going on a different line because I wanted to know if those same qualities are characteristics that they're saying a man is a dog because of. Are they not found in females as well? Because we gotta defend our own right here. Are those not found in females? Females don't cheat. Females don't. Females don't do these things. It's only men that do these things. So should we also say then that all females are dogs? Help me to just quantify this here.
I wouldn't say that because I think anyone that says that, like especially any woman that says all men are dogs, is obviously a woman that's been hurt before.
Correct.
So obviously they're more guarded as it should be because they've been hurt. So of course they'll be guarded. But at the same time, you can hold those negative stereotypes onto men because it probably stop you from moving forward and having a meaningful relationship, in my opinion.
I agree.
But
I don't
to
think...
me, it's like the perspective of the individual, People always, as Russell says, speak from a place of hurt. And they may go into a situation wherein that the guy himself would have hurt and said, like, see me, I ain't giving my feelings to no one. So who come my way is top level. And they'll get that characteristics as being a dog because he was hurt in the past. And he said that I am not giving my heart over. So, yeah.
Yeah, because hurt people. And I think it's very important that usually with people like that, there are some signs early on, like what people say red flags early on, but a lot of times you're in a new relationship and you're just happy to be in a relationship, so you ignore things. So I think you gotta look out for those red flags early on.
Yeah, I think
to add, right, I think the reasoning will be off in terms of saying all men are dogs because one, you've not dated all men.
True.
Such a statement.
And if you did.
Yeah. But
Answers a lot.
to usually they do make that statement from a position of hurt, but to quantify that all men are dogs, it would be totally wrong because you got men all around you, and we are 4 good men here. Our wives can testify that we are not dogs.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Yeah, man. I'm about to put
There's
ones
some
in the
men out
chat
there
for
who
that.
behave weird. Yes, I am one who gives, we say in Barbados, jacket jacket, in terms of saying, listen, there's some men out there that don't take up the responsibility. There's some men out there that, they're not, committed to the family. They're not committed to the marriage and so forth. Yes, there are some of those, but I believe that those are the minority of men, a very small section of men. And if women would make better choices in terms of the men that they date, then they won't make that statement.
True. I agree. I think by saying all men are dogs is really an unfair statement to the good or the loyal men, the loyal
Right.
dogs that are out there. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an unfair statement because there are many men that were hurt in the past as well. And yes, there are many men out there that do a bad job. It's like, for instance, I heard a friend of mine tell me recently that the contractor he was with really messed up his house and took a lot of his money. And I've heard that about contractors time and time again, but I would
Yeah,
never tell you
yeah.
all contractors are bad contractors or thieves or anything.
Correct.
It's a situation whereby you have to really do your due diligence in finding the best one. And oftentimes we follow emotions and we get caught up in the feeling at the time, the height, that infatuation phase, and as a
We
result,
love.
yeah, love, and as a result, we lose sight of the greater good because you went seeking one thing and end up with another. So yeah, all men and dogs, and I think deep down, all y'all females, especially ones that are watching this, all y'all females know that, man. All men and dogs. It's just
Correct.
that. Oh,
Two man, the situations that they place themselves in,
yeah.
because sometimes you go into a relationship, the wrong way, and then when you get hurt, it's like all men are dogs. You label men all dogs, and if you didn't go about it the right way, as I say, looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I got people in chat telling me just to be careful. John Mark, to tell you full well that you didn't know, you know that they didn't mean from the perspective of dogs being loyal.
Yeah, I
It was a
know,
smart
man. But
spin, though. It was a smart spin,
use the brain.
Yeah. So getting into your relationship, and not to pry too deep, but I wanted to know, did your wife have any, getting a little deeper, have any previous hurts that caused her to be a little, standoffish, and how you dealt with that? What was your perspective going in on that? How would you deal with that? Period.
Well, let me say first and foremost, right, that I was head and shoulders above any others that were before me.
I play the charm, John. I gotta play the charm.
Correct.
I play the charm.
It's highly unlikely that we marry the first person that we date. The dating process is actually to help you to understand if this person is somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with. We have an issue in Christendom. It's also in church. I mean, you can expect it from the world, but we have an issue in Christendom where people date for a long time and it seems like the relationship is not going in any specific direction. The process of dating is for you to answer a lot of questions and figure out, hey, do I want to go forward with this person or do I need to dip it? No, because we don't have time to waste. Well, that's why I put it. I don't have time to waste.
John, how long were you and your wife courting before you all got married?
1 year.
1 year, baby. 1 year before you proposed?
1 year before I asked her to marry me, and we married the next year. So we courted for 2 years. But by the first year, I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this woman, and I asked the question there and then.
Right there.
Yeah. I had time to waste, really and truly.
You were old?
Pardon?
You were old?
Nah, no. Don't take it as old, right? Of course, you know that I have a business brain. And one of the things in business you understand is that you could get back money, but you can't get back time. Time is the most valuable asset that you have on this life, in this life. Right? So you don't want to waste time with the wrong person, or you don't want, spend time in a relationship that you could be used in another relationship which should be nurturing and actually the will of God for your life. So you ask those questions, you try to like just put the whole sex vibe and so forth on pause, because sex can always be there, right? And it's hard, it's difficult. But use your head and start to ask some questions, that you think that would benefit you or will help you in going in the direction that you're going. And if it is that this person is taking you in that direction, then pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger.
I agree with what John Mark said. From previous experience, before I was married, It kind of said air quotes, I was engaged before, and I thank God for what he do, because it was like, he's right, but it wasn't the right decision at that point in time, and I didn't go about it as John Mark did, asking the right questions, you're head over heels, and this is a pretty girl and money in the background, but the red flags were there, as Russell had said before, and I ignored them, But thank God it didn't go to that direction where right now we might be in a rough situation.
Yeah.
But by dating, and looking at that, see, this is the one for me. Yeah. Because I remember as I bait, there was this one young lady was talking to her, she come, let me do it. I was like, who? My work? No. I was like, all right, let me waste some time. This is for me. Nah, I move on. Yeah.
So how long was it before you got married?
1 year.
1 year before. Russ, how long was it before you got married?
I think the same, around 2 years, like John Mark,
And how long before you proposed?
The same thing like John Mark, like within
y'all was 1 year before y'all proposed?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm the only one that waited 6 years.
No, really, truly, your
situation
was different. Because you were studying overseas.
Yeah, I was still studying. I wanted to complete my studies first.
Right, your situation was different.
Yeah.
My situation was hard though, because I felt like, I was the how old was I? I was the old version boy that it's taking a while.
Wow.
It's taking a while, yeah.
Wow.
And I knew full well I didn't want to get married for sex, but I also knew part of me really, really wanted to have sex with my wife. Many times was right.
When she was your wife.
Yeah, when she was my wife. Yeah, correct. Fortunately, we were able to make that happen. But I don't wanna pry into y'all too much, and I want to ask, did y'all do it before marriage or anything? I just want to know how was that period before y'all got together, and the fight that we men would have mentally going through want to know what you're trying to say, man. I just can't get the word.
Yeah. I must correct myself. I just get a message saying time was that short. It was actually 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It was off. I was like, oh, there's trouble later on already.
Yeah, you put yourself in trouble, boy.
Yeah. So it seems to be that
Not
short.
really in trouble. What happened to Maurice is that the woman started to count before Maurice started to count.
Hey, you know it was the one, man.
Yeah.
You would get me in trouble here.
You see you across the car park.
What's the part you live here, John Mark?
Don't worry, I got a room for you, buddy. I got a room. So,
right.
in terms of the whole waiting before, it was rough. It coming close. It was rough.
Yeah.
Sweating here. Sweating.
What we did is that we would majority of the time we would double date in terms of if she's coming over to the house or with the cases, I will have another couple come over. Because even though, you know, I may pray for hours and speak in tongues or what have you, when blood rushed to that head, I tell you, all my sense is gone. Gone.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
So we did there were deliberate measures that we put in place to help us to get there. There were one or two close calls. Yeah, that's being real.
Yeah.
On a real, there were one or two close calls, but I thank God that we made it. It was even more special afterward.
Yeah, I think it gives the relationship a lot of strength too, in terms of like there's a period where we, let's say if I had to go for a few days, I'll lie to y'all, a few days without sex, I think I could still survive, you know? Like relationship could still work, you know what I mean? Like I honestly believe though, to be honest, that we could go much longer without sex, because we didn't have sex before marriage. Sex is not the basis of our relationship. I don't know, like if you watch TV, you see, I watch Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
There people that have sex with anybody, everybody. I take our pictures, just sex with random people. Them can rename that. Sean Rhimes need to change it. And realistically, that's what they see relationships as. But we had a different, or we have a different perspective on our relationship, I believe, because it's not based on a foundation of sex. And I think that's what not having sex before marriage allows you to do, to be able to adapt, spend time enjoying one another friendship, enjoying one another company, that sort of stuff. But please let this be known, because this going out there, and my wife can watch it, that at the end of the day, men need sex too. All right, it's not me saying men don't need sex.
I would like to go back to what John Mark was touching on. And just say, and even what you were saying just there about men needing sex, because it's something you need, you know. And you know, going back even to talking about men being dogs, because men like sex, right? And it's something that as a man is something that you need it, right? And I think like when you're dating, obviously you're going to try to be a good guy, but you have those needs. And I think especially for Christian relationships, is when you're dating to be careful not to put yourself in a situation where something can happen. Because it's like you're a good guy, you're trying your best to do what's best, but you and your girl or your fiance, if y'all are at home by yourself, in your bedroom, no one in there, you know, it's like how you end up in that situation, you know, how you allow yourself to end up in a situation like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you gotta be careful not to do things like that.
Exactly.
And it's a conscious decision. You can just make a conscious decision to put yourself out of those things, right? Then these things happen by accident, you know? Some people go drive in and park off, like, hey, how you end up here, you know? It's a conscious decision, right? You plan like, all right, my mom leaving her at 5 o'clock, my dad come home from work at 6 o'clock. Let me tell her, come over, be here at this certain time. You know, things like that. And then you want to act like, wait, how you get in this situation? But no, it's not that. And you got to make a conscious effort to make sure things like that don't happen. Don't put yourself in that situation.
Don't give the enemy a toehold there, because if he get a toehold, he pushing and he can't through.
Exactly.
As my man John, it's get hard, and pun intended, it's hard, man. When you're trying to,
because then you're not thinking. You're
thinking
on your mind.
It's true.
Unlike you guys, I was boxing at the time when I met my wife, you know, and doing what boxing people do, you know. So coming back into the kingdom of God, it was difficult, you know.
Yeah.
And saying, she was like, you had to put measures in place.
Yes, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, put measures in place and say, all right, we ain't doing certain things, you know. We ain't going certain places, you know. And yeah, correct. The good thing is that my household always has some person, her household always has some person, so you know.
Well, my in-laws, I would go over by my wife whenever my in-laws were there, or her brother or someone was there. And yeah, we would just keep one another in a position where we can, like, we I don't want to say hold one another accountable, but where we can adequately provide the restraint. It wasn't a case where we had close calls. I never saw my wife naked before marriage, topless before marriage, um, because, and I wouldn't say that we weren't in positions where it could have happened. But why say it wasn't a case where we had close calls? Because of that same conscious decision that we made, that no matter what, we are not going all the way with this thing. It's going to get very hard, but we are going to push against it. And even in not going all the way, you got to make that conscious decision not even to go part of the way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to address all of them things. But really and truly, male perspective on things, I feel like men have a greater urge for sex. I don't know if it's because there's a man that I think so, but I can be real. I feel like men have a greater urge for sex than women. I've been in discussions before where men have argued against me and said, listen, it's the same for females. They just don't talk about it as much. I know. I can only tell you from my perspective.
No,
I believe that that's how God made us. I believe that strongly, that God made us wired that way. You know, as He said, be fruitful and multiply. You know, so that has to be a part of our DNA.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You were saying something just now, John?
Yeah, the male brain, how we are wired. I had to ask myself if something was wrong with me personally, because one, this thing is always on my mind. And I went into different forums with men and spoke to men who I realized they got the same problem as I do. That even a philosopher once said that everything that we do is controlled by the urge or the need for sex, right? Yeah, everything we do. We can't remember who the philosopher was, but his thinking was that all things are connected to sex, all things, and the urge and the need for it, right? But as a man, I am telling you, it can get difficult at times. It can get difficult at times. Even as a married man, people think that because you're married, it solves sex problems.
It's true.
Nope.
That's one thing that's
It's
one of
true.
the
You're
myths.
married, you're dead, you gotta control yourself.
Correct. That's one of the myths that we come through, because okay, we wait until marriage to have sex, and then when you get married, you can have as much sex as you want, or with the case is, yes, you're permitted to legally have sex, but I mean, you can just jump on a hump every time that
Yeah.
there are other things
Nothing
going
will
on.
happen. Nothing will happen to the place.
There are other things going on, right? So that myth, I think I had to debunk that myth also early on in marriage, and then to have that real conversation in terms of the expectations, because some persons, as a man, you might expect to have it like 3 to 5 times a week for some of us, right? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that that's the exact number, but I'm just putting that out there. You have a number in your head thinking that, yeah, right? But how does your partner feel about it? How does your wife feel about it in terms of, is she gonna be up for it 5 times a week or 2 times a week? I mean, do you have to adjust to suit or with the cases? Do you have to try and take a cold shower? People believe that you don't have to take cold showers within marriage. That is the first thing from the truth.
I'm a big fan of this cold shower thing, John. I feel like
neither. I don't think it's work, but
Push up, John.
You push us. I don't know. When I was a young Christian, in terms of as a teenager, I remember I heard one minister say to me, what you gotta do is every time you think about masturbation, put your other hand in the air and start to worship. If you could worship and masturbate at the same time, you got a problem, sir. You bigger problems.
We got real bigger
Until you
problems.
start worshiping, you stop masturbation. But you also gotta make the conscious effort to start worshiping. And
Correct.
Yeah.
you also gotta make that conscious effort to go and take a cold shower. And I don't know, for me, just being real, a cold shower is not something that I think is ideal. I think it's a conscious decision you have to make, not only within your mind, but within your spirit self, that
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I am not going to submit myself or put myself in a position where I fall for this temptation yet again.
Like what John Mark has said before about not putting yourself in different positions. The same thing goes.
Yeah.
You know, I have single friends, you know, and some are older than I am, and they're still single, and it's difficult for them. I say as a married man, you know, I can
Yeah.
go back to being you know, going 2 months without sex. It's like shh, that was a head scratcher. You know, so these persons who are out there and being single is extremely difficult. So you gotta put yourself in a position, as you said, not to and when you're dating, not for certain things to happen. The same thing goes when you're married, when you're single, you know, what you focus on. What you focus on.
I just had a very interesting message from Cornelius. He said, all believers need to understand that there is nothing casual about sex. Sex creates the marriage covenant. It's a biblical principle. Marriage is about covenant, blood covenant to be specific. So we need to love God more than anything or anyone else. Then everything else comes together, yeah?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I
The
think
male stigma in our country, unfortunately, is that you know you gotta have to have 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 girls, and but look what some men don't know is that every time you have sex with some person, you're taking on that
piece of them.
that bond.
Yeah.
And whoever they had sex with, you're also bond with them too. So you know you may have had struggles, you know, let's say with masturbation, but by having sex with these other people, greater
Having struggles with homosexuality, and then you start to struggle with things like homosexuality.
bestiality. You don't know what the other person in their life were involved in, so you come and you bring all of this upon yourself. Yeah. So
yeah. And condoms don't stop spiritual transfers, all right?
nope.
You know, people that say, yeah, we just bought a condom to stop any demons that this girl got. Nah, don't work so, buddy. Don't work so, all right?
You need the blood of Jesus as a prayer, boy.
You want abstinence, families.
Yeah. So the blood of Jesus, man.
We gotta be very cautious of that. And cautious means abstinence is what we're essentially practicing, but we're not blind to the fact that there are men out there that are not practicing abstinence. And that is also a perspective of a man that, you know, I need sex. Even some men might be watching this now and be like, you know, I can be real, I need sex. So at the end of the day, whenever y'all done talk,
The
I need
urge
sex. Yeah, it just like one ear and come through the next. But realistically, you gotta make that effort though to if you're going to live a godly life and it's something that you're committing to. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm just going to tell you it's going to be worth it. So if you are going to make that decision, I know that it's a worthwhile decision. You gotta live the life to represent it, and it's going to be hard.
I want to put in a little plug here because it's something that I have been struggling with. Not really struggling with, but something that
Mommy life here.
Yeah, I know. Something that no, when I say I struggle with in terms of our culture, right?
Yeah.
And when we believe that we are ready for marriage. Now, one of the things that I wanna put to you is something that I was studying of late. Now, a male comes to maturity, like sexual maturity around 13, 14. Now when you start getting wet dreams and you start, you know, your sperm is developed and so forth or what have you. And you have to wait from there, where is the peak of your sexuality, the drive, the engines roaring. You have to wait until marriage. And one of the things that I still question is the time in which we believe that, you know, an individual is ready to be married. I am not sure, looking at all you guys, I'm thinking that I got married earlier than you all are. When I was married, I was 21, 20, 22.
You were 22?
22.
And your wife was how old?
She was 20. She turned 21 the next day.
Okay.
Wow.
Right?
You were your wife's gift for her birthday?
Nah. My
You were-
birthday is 5 days from Christmas, and just give me one. So
No, I asked if you were your wife's gift for her birthday.
He responded correctly.
thank you, Russell. I'll see you later. But yeah, you have a young man who's 18. Well, my story was I was converted 17, 18, right? And I came from a life where sex was accessible. And to come then and make a vow of abstinence until marriage was difficult. And the general consensus was usually, I don't know if you ever did any statistics within Barbados and see was the average age that we usually get married, but I figure it's somewhere in our mid-20s, like, or late 20s, something around there. Because usually persons are waiting until they have all the different things, the house, the car, the life set up in order to to entertain marriage. And the crazy thing about it is that having the comforts of the house and the car and the money in the bank and so forth, yes, it makes things a little easier on the financial aspect, but it doesn't guarantee success. And that's one of the things that young people have to grapple with, because there's somebody here who's in a relationship, there's somebody here who really truly wants to get married, but they don't have the things that they think that is necessary to marry, and then they're gonna struggle with the feelings of sex.
It's true. I remember when I was young, you service John made this point in youth service. As he was the youth leader at the time, we were downstairs of our church, and he was like, all y'all young people in here, and we were talking about sex, and he was like, even y'all guys think you know what you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
Every young man going, oh, he didn't know about me. Every young man looking around at that point in time, how many think you know what we're doing, but we didn't know what we're doing. But that was a time that I remember, yeah. John, you mind explaining what you meant by that?
Well, the Bible clearly tells us to dwell with your wife according to knowledge, right? And it has been an era of many men who believe that all women are the same, especially in sex. So Patsy liked it this way, so you try it with Suzanne, but Suzanne is a different individual. She doesn't entertain the things that Patsy would have liked or what have you. So you come with misconceptions already, and already a point of a bias, so to speak. So when it came into my marriage, even though I would have been sexually active before, I had to wipe my slate clean. I went before God and said, listen, I don't know anything about this thing. I know the basic physics of it. But in terms of pleasing my wife, it took time. So we in our couples ministry would say younger people have more sex, but older people have better sex. Because older couples would know their partner's bodies better. They would have a little more communication going on or what have you. And younger people would just go at it. Just go, let's get it on, man. Yeah. So that's what I actually meant.
That's interesting, though. The younger people.
Go ahead, Russell.
You go, Mark. All right. Touching back on what you were saying before, John. I think fast forwarded a little bit, but with saying that younger people might think they need some more stability before they get married. You were trying to say that they don't necessarily need that?
No, I'm not saying that they don't necessarily need that. I'm saying that there's a myth that as long as that stability is in place, that the marriage will be successful.
Oh, okay.
I think that a lot of young people scare marriage because of one, they see the failing rate before us or what have you, and they deem certain things necessary for a successful marriage. And I have found that I mean, I would tell you a personal story. I had a close friend, even the couple that my wife and I used to call over to keep us, you know, in chat or what have you, make sure that somebody in the house at all time and so forth. We would double date. And the guy was of the opinion he can't marry the lady because he doesn't have the house, this, that, and next and third. So I took him to a place. I said, well, what if you did have the house? What if you did have the car and, you know, everything was going good? But then life happens. Suppose you get a call at work and says that the house burned flat. What you can do? You can divorce the woman.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Life happens, and get into a marriage is about taking responsibility for your life and for the life of that woman and the family to come. That's it.
Okay.
So it's not that I'm saying that you don't need the house or it's not better to have the house or what have you, but I'm saying that it does not guarantee success.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. But to touch on the cultural aspect as well, you know, I was said even in church circles, you know, a young lady was told not to buy a pig in a bag, you know, and that is, I was like, seriously, in church circles, but they're advocating to try out, and I don't advocate that. So like, how you say they're bringing Susie to Sandra, you know, that's why God wanted her to be one husband, one wife, you know, so that you will get to know that individual, know what they like, what they dislike, and have no other comparison, which will cause to kind of corrupt what you guys will, what the husband and the wife will have.
Yeah.
Because then it causes issues.
Yeah, I heard a quote, I think it's from Maya Angelou, where she was like, a lady's heart should be so buried in God that a man will have to go through God first in order to get to her. And I thought it was profound, because if we actually seek God first and go through God first to understand who it is that we are supposed to be with, if we are supposed to be with this person that is the one, then we should go through God to find out if this person is actually the one. And then if we go through God and find out that this person is actually the one, there's no reason for me to have to try her out first beforehand. As a friend of mine named Danny will say, if you got a square penis, trust me, she got a square vagina. So you go try it. You go try it.
Because it gives the idea that God doesn't have the best for you, you know, and in the long run, if you're a Bible believing Christian, God has the best for you no matter what, you know. Situation, you may have this picture in your mind, you know, you want this, as you say, Coca-Cola bottle shape and everything, but that's not what God has for you. God has something better for you that fits you perfectly, you know. And with God, I don't think he was like, you know, have any shortcomings in what you will want, and or even he will surpass what your mind could even think of.
Yeah.
And going back to what John was saying, like I agree with John 100%, where he's talking about communicating and knowing what your wife likes. And that's not just limited to sex. That's in your entire marriage. That communication is the biggest thing. To know what
courting your wife, find out what your wife like first.
Correct.
Yeah. When I say find out what your wife like first, I'm not referring to sex as.
But one of the things that I want to really truly add in here also, right, Russell? Even though you're communicating and speaking, right? The beauty about a marriage and the beauty about our relationships is that 5 years down the road, even though you said you got in what 2 years now, Russell? How long you been married now?
Yeah, almost 3.
Almost 3 years. Good. I guarantee you, right? I guarantee you that the man you are today, 3 years down the road, is not the man you were 3 years ago. Some of your worldviews have changed, your perspective has changed, you have different tastes, you have different likes. There's some persons at a point in time in their life, they could have drank milk without any concern. Then you get a little older, you realize that you get lactose intolerance. So knowing that person allows you to, it's not like a stagnant something, well, I know so and so. I believe when the Bible says to know your wife or dwell with your wife according to knowledge, that knowing is written in the present continuous. Know and keep knowing. You understand? Discover and keep discovering.
That's why I'm saying communication is key, because you gotta keep talking.
Correct.
You gotta keep talking because things are changing. Things change every day.
Constantly.
Some things, you know?
Constantly. when you first got married, her favorite color may be blue. No, she's more towards pink. Same thing with foods and so forth. So you're constantly updating your data. You're constantly talking and communicating and getting some information.
It's true, because Romain put me in some trouble there when my wife was watching his live, and he was like, "Yes, man, I spontaneously come and take my wife out to." She was like, "When last you came out to dinner?" I was like, "You know? Like hard.
We isolation, man. We isolation.
That thing though, I had to go now and cook up some dinner, place like candles, and it's like,
oh, right. Well, all the thoughts, man.
My hand one, it lit some fire on me. I was like, thanks for me.
Well, that's good. Why they keep wanting to a high bar? The bar is high, man. But yeah, so I'm glad we were able to share our perspectives on sex, because it's not. I also want to cancel another myth before we move on for sex. I don't want females to think that all men want is sex.
Lie.
A lot more to a man.
Correct.
Wants a lot more than just sex. Men need more than sex.
Yeah.
They love.
And due respect.
Wait, let me say something here, right, Romain?
Yeah.
I can give you ladies a tip, right? Because
Jeez,
a lot of ladies believe, a lot of women believe, right, that the number one thing that a man wants is sex. Now I'm going to share something with our viewers or what have you. Now, the number one thing I believe that a man wants and needs is respect. There's some places in your relationship, if you feel disrespected, you will find that you may have erectile dysfunction. You will realize that, hey, it can't get up. It's not a fact that you're impotent or with cases, but emotionally, right? You may be.
That's what you want to share?
Right? Huh?
Is it experience talking?
Nah, my wife is respect me at all times. That's good. I'm a highly respected
what John is saying is so true, because respect is a big part in a relationship. And you know, we live in a culture that you see it a lot, where when a woman gets mad at a man, the first thing she's hit below the belt, or she says something, you know, like you say things you told me when you're angry, and especially if you do something like that in public, you just shame that man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't right. And it goes both ways. Not just saying that that women shouldn't do it, men shouldn't do it to women either. Because respect is a big key. I say communication, respect, two definite things you need to base your marriage on as well.
Yeah.
He had me lost a bit at the erectile dysfunction part, but definitely I would say respect is extremely like priority. I don't know if you want to explain a little more of what you meant.
No,
That's personal.
Well, I'm hoping that I got over the point of the cases. You guys are a little younger, more younger than I am, and there's different phases in your marriage, right? There's the phase where you're fresh and you can let a lot of stuff slide, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you start getting a rhythm, like when you really to start beating a rhythm in your marriage, like the whole facade of romance, because yes, marriage has romance as a component, but I think one of the things that women come with this myth is that you're gonna have 100% romance every day. Gonna be roses, chocolates, flowers, going out, candles, and so forth, right? And the books that they tend to read tend to fuel
books and media.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then especially with our TV also, you're watching movies with the kids. It don't seem like nobody's good work. These people don't work.
It's a fact. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
How come that when it comes to like even love making with cases, I never seen any ladies on a period. They're always ready. It always happens. It's always the right time. The kids don't barge in.
And it's always the best ever. The best ever. You know? I remember watching
barging or not, John. You're right.
On a real, like.
Yeah, I understand.
That's no.
I remember listening to Focus on Your Family, and said that sometimes sex will be like hello, you get a fizzle. Sometimes it's be passionate. Sometimes it's like you know, like I do right now. You know, and I got to understand. It was like, nah, man, sex got be like over the moon every time. And then as I listened more and and get to understand, it's not always going to be the fireworks and the splash and the
Correct.
boom, you know? Yeah.
There was one thing that Pastor Watson had mentioned while preaching, right? And he found this thing to be so hard to imagine. The man said there was one point in time that he was so busy that he and his wife had to schedule sexual encounters. That life was so busy. You understand what I'm saying? Is that you're trying to provide for the kids, and this body going to college, and this body going to this school, and this and this. You got to pick up this body from here, and you're doing this, and we have two different timings, and somebody doing a degree, and somebody doing a master's, and it seems that it's just two ships in the night just passing. And he said that they had to make a conscious decision, maybe set an alarm for 2 o'clock in the morning, so such a place, and say, listen, this is coming together time. Because the truth of the matter is that if we don't come together, the adversary can come and bring temptation before you. That's reality. It's like a dog without a bone. I always make the comparison to the picture Madagascar. You remember Madagascar? The lion was when he was in the zoo and he was being fed over the cases. Everything was good, right? But when he was in the woods and he was not getting that meat,
everything like a piece of meat
began to look like meat.
Yeah, boy, it's true. It's true.
So I mean, that's a lion, right? That's the lion within us.
That's such a real example. Honestly, it don't get no more realistic. That's such a powerful example, John.
That is how I see it. That's how I experienced it, or what have you. So yeah, man, it's not always gonna be fireworks over the cases. Sometimes, I mean, you can go have little quiet encounters because you got kids next door. Or, dynamics are totally different. You can't swing from a chandelier like Maurice. Maurice ain't got kids yet, so he can swing from a chandelier in there. But I can't swing from a chandelier.
I'm beating your chest.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you, John. Before I got married, that was something I thought as well, and it's silly because it's just from watching movies and things like that, cultural things, where you just think if fireworks always gonna be there, sorry guys, in a romantic comedy for a movie, and everything just can work out fine. And then you realize, because I used to hear things of people having to schedule a date night and stuff like that, and I was like, where's the romance in scheduling a date night? And I think that's something you only understand until you're really in it. I said, especially if you're working for yourself, if you're really busy, you need to schedule things sometimes. Like, all right, tonight we're going out, we're having a date, and it is just, to me, it's just as romantic as what it was before, because you're doing something together, you're doing something with the person you love,
But I think that's what fashions us, not only as men, but as human beings on a whole. I think reality is that society and TV and all that sort of stuff is what fashions us to think the way that we think.
Yeah, TV only shows you the interesting things. So what John was saying, when people going out on TV, the kids ain't there, and it just shows you the interesting things, and that's not real life.
And what actually happens then is, because you ain't, like, for instance, I could tell you for a fact, even at school, many people at school like, pornography is this big deal. If you ain't jerking off, your sperm can get bad, and all these sort of false things that people used to say to you, because we had knowledge at the time, and because we as men refuse to speak about it, then we are in this position where we start to query it in our minds, and as a result, we start to look at things on our own in privacy of our own home or something, and that then fashions your mentality towards relationships. So looking at something pornographic might cause you to think, okay, this is how I'm supposed to have sex. This is what is fun. This is what is enjoyable. Then really, a lot of these things are done because they're supposed to be making you think the way that you're thinking right now. And it's not a realistic idea of sex. It's not a realistic idea of marriage. It's not a realistic idea of relationships on a whole. Even finance. Maybe look into, because we're going to get into finance, and maybe look into finances, you'll see how rappers and things just be shelling out money. Everybody's want to make money, but nobody's going to want
make it rain.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody want to have money and cash security, but nobody don't really won't be, oh, I gotta go work and get this money. I gotta put
Late
myself
hours.
mentally in a position to be an entrepreneur. And people don't want
You don't
do
think of
all
those
the
things.
things. They just want the result. Yeah. And that's all because of TV and stuff too. We see, I love to travel, for instance. I like anybody else would love to stay home and make money, of course. But realistically, you have to put things in place so that you can be in that position to stay home and make money. Yeah. I remember the same Pastor Watson told me he butt into a friend of his and he knew he was working somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Say he was working at YouTube. So he was working at YouTube and Pastor Watson asked him, so how are things? You're still working at YouTube? He's like, oh, actually, no, I don't work anymore. And Pastor Watson's like, you don't work anymore? He's like, oh yeah, once you made the right decisions when you're young, you don't have to work when you're old. And that stuck with me. Cause
Correct.
I don't know if he did flossing from Pastor Watson, but I took the message out the mess, you know what I mean? So I hold on to that. I make the right decisions now. I don't have to work when I older. So that's exactly what I'm trying to put in place in my personal life. And I think that's the way that we as men should be thinking. Yeah. I had to give up a lot of the Jordans and I didn't like the Jordans. I mean, like I had to give up a lot of the gear and start saving money actively. So I think as men, we try to get this image in most cases because all men aren't the same. Yeah, we can't paint all with the same brush. Where we are, where we look the part. Men like to dress nice. At least the men that I am familiar with like to dress nice and stuff like that. But then you'll have some that would be very well off, and those are the ones that show up wearing the slippers and the short baggy pants and polo shirts. It's just the way it is. So we have to change our mentality as far as I learned a lot from those guys, by the way. But we have to change our mentality as far as that is concerned as well, so that we can be providers for our family. And I clear to move on to finances right now, right, guys? Y'all had anything else?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
cool.
right.
So
I actually want to chime in on the finances and say, well, I thank God for my dad because he taught us the value of saving. It's like, yeah, all right, you want the bling now, or you want to be comfortable later? You want to be able to eat, or you want the shoes? Simple. You pick which one it is, and I took that and be able to translate it into my life now. Like, all right, we can put aside something for the rainy day. It'll be a little tight now, but then later on down the road, it'll be better.
So yeah, financially, we just gotta make sure that we're in a position that we can provide for our family. I don't think any of us in this chat at least have a situation where you want to be in a position where you can't provide for your family. I know some men live out by we John that say I don't want a car. All I want to do is sit down in the front seat with my feet on top of the dashboard and blow. Yeah. And that's the perspective of some men. As the perspective of some men is not a go-getter mentality. And the problem is women would see certain men and as a result classify all men as dogs, but there are definitely ones out there. But yeah, financially, what would you say about the sacrifice and stuff that you will have to make financially and your perspective on finances, I should say, going into marriage and know that you're in marriage?
Finances, that was a rough one, right? Because I mean, when you get into marriage, you come in, there's two different worldviews on how the money is supposed to be used, how money is supposed to be spent. There's a person who likes to see the gas tank always on F or it don't go below half.
Yeah.
And then there's a person who is got the light shining and said, man, I can still get another deal to this, right?
Yeah. I give you back a car like that already.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bring it back and it break down. Somewhere where I put it into gas, right? I remember that car. But anyhow, it was, I mean, people say that marriages have a lot of issues when it comes to finances over the cases, right? But the whole financial thing is still built on communication. because those are talking points. What do you see? And all this stuff is supposed to be going on through the courtship. You know, you
Yes.
put up your financials.
The
Do you
position.
own any shares? You got any, you know, any financial? And was your debt like? Do you have any debt? Because you know when you bring debt from a person
Whoa.
point, you come into a relationship. You bringing that debt with you into the relationship.
Yep.
So I mean, if you go and take out stuff at courts and you can't pay, then they're gonna be calling your wife, or vice versa. If your wife going to take out stuff and she can't pay, then they'll be calling you. So it's not where you could dissect and say his money, her money. It's not his and hers, it's ours. However you look at it, it's ours. The different ways of dealing with money. When we first started, we had a joint account, put all the resources, and I didn't have a personal account at all. Later on in life, I had to make a change, and that's because of business. Um, my communication was not the best because I am not accustomed to telling somebody what I want to spend or what I want to spend on, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But I had to learn, like, my wife is the one, she's finding it hard to spend $100 bill without calling and saying, well, hun, I can spend $100. Um, I just come home with a new car. That's not the best thing here. That's not the best thing, but what I'm just saying,
No.
that was one of my struggles, right? But as time went by, and I mean, there was even a point in time when my wife was frustrated, to be quite honest, because she was saying, you know, by no, John, you should got it right. You should have gotten it right. But some things take longer than others. Um, from my own personal standpoint, I had to go back through my own family line, like how my mom used to deal with money, how my father dealt with money, because it influenced then how I
Correct.
responded. And here is me creating another unit, a family, and it demands a change. And change is always, you know, a bit difficult. It come with drawbacks and so forth. So yeah, it was and is an ongoing process, but I am a lot better now in terms of communication and stuff. But I always knew this, and I always said this, right? I will work 3 jobs and maybe a fourth just to provide for my family. I don't have a problem in terms of I would do anything once it was legal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to have this thing that you don't do certain types of work. And I threw that thing through the door. I would shovel sand.
Mm.
And I say sand because we on a live, but you guys know what you I
I think I'm on the opposite end of John Mark, that because I am more structured, you know. When I agree with some of the points he made when me and Crystal were courting, and I said, well, this is the person I want to be with. I declared the finances. I tell her that this is what I want. I didn't tell her what it was doing. We were saving towards the wedding, and I told her that we're gonna set up this account. We put in some money there to save from now on, you know. And she got to the point where she was with her family and I was with my family, but we had combined our incomes that we can save one person's income towards the wedding. And I wish I could go back to that where we can live off of one person's income, you know. You know, but it shall in Jesus' name, you know. But I was the person who budgeted. I had every iota. I was an impulse spender, but I still trying to get it under control. You know, I
Yeah.
will see a gadget here, and you go pick it up, and then, man, you know, you can make handy later on. You know, but
Mm.
I will come home with a car.
Yeah, fair enough.
However, in terms of budgeting, I think I've set my wife on the road to budgeting because she's a guru now. She have her cash envelope,
Really good.
everything set up for insurance, car insurance, our monthly spend, um, whatever the light, the water, you know. And I kind of sort of instilled that in her because I told her that this is what we're gonna have our essentials, and she took it from there. She ran. So it's to the point where I don't have to worry about budgeting or our finances is every month. She's gonna come and she has her spreadsheet. She has her breakdown. All right, this is what we need. This is what we're gonna do, and we go from there. You know, and I think but you have to find out what works for you as a couple. because
Right.
money can become an issue. And I think it's one of the
big
major things that
issue,
cause divorce
money breaks up relationships. Yep.
relationships. And
Actually,
you're telling your wife this is all she can
6 to
spend.
12 relationships. Well, half of the relationships are
Yeah.
broken up.
Yeah,
By
because the
finances.
person see it as my money and her money. You know, there's a couple like I was talking with, and she says what she makes is hers and what he makes is his.
Yeah, I don't get
But
that.
the bills in half, you know, this what I don't agree on that, but
don't-
that's what works for them. You know,
Correct. Correct.
Fair
so
enough.
what keeps their marriage together? Uh, kudos to you.
Yeah, good point.
Combine our finances, there's clarity, right? And I believe in that also, having that clarity wherein that you are a steward of what God has given to you, you know? And what also helps in finances is giving. You know, giving is a big part of
Sure.
our budgeting. We have to have at least be able to bless somebody, you
Yeah.
know?
Sure.
Not that we're doing it for people to know or whatever, but God knows, and
Yeah.
that helps the finances a lot.
Coronavirus.
Nah, error.
I rebuke that, man. Don't worry. All right, so I got a question that we had on our live last week, and I just want to run it by you guys because I want your perspective on it. So just follow the scenario, yeah? Dear lovers, while doing budgeting in our counseling classes as preparation for marriage, my husband and I agreed that he is better suited to manage the finances. It has literally been 7 months since our wedding, and I already believe he is going overboard. I acknowledge that I went overboard with spending 2 separate months, with a third month being just slightly over budget. He is now requesting my card and wants to give me specific amounts of cash each month. Is this normal? How do you guys cope with your finances? Because I always had my freedom. How y'all would answer that?
It's a new normal. Once again, we want to reiterate, there is no one fit for any marriage, right? I outlined 2 different ways couples do things. One, couples may pool all their resources, so they may not have any personal accounts. There's one account, all salaries come into that account, all expenses appear from that account, what have you. Then there's another way where they have 3 accounts. The male has his, the wife has hers, and then there is an account which is the account for expenses. So you would itemize the expenses of the household, where you're gonna need to spend on food, light, water, phone, etc. And then you say, well, all right, we can split this 50-50, we can split it 60-40, however you choose to, you have communication. I think one of the things that you said remain in terms of that money is a big area that it causes the most breakups in relationships. Actually, the research says that it is the communication behind the money. It's not the money per se. It is the communication that is necessary for persons to say and talk and say, well, listen, this is what I would like, or this is what, and can we do this, or what have you. In that situation, what she would need to do is to speak directly to her husband and have some declarative, some conversation, some deep conversation, intimate conversation about the money. Get his views, put her views on there, and see if they can come to some consensus. I don't like this, I don't like that, but I like this. I think that we can work with this, or let's try this for 3 months. Because even if you try something for 3 months, it doesn't mean that you can't change.
Correct.
We have to get out there also with a budget.
So he shouldn't have taken away the card, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that he shouldn't have taken away the card. What I'm saying is that there should be some discussion before taking away the card.
Okay, cool.
I would say that definitely need to discuss. You need to talk. You may need to come to some sort of form of compromise. But I would say you shouldn't just take away the card. You should definitely talk things through first.
3 months. It was 3 months.
If you discussed in the previous months, he could take it away.
Before you overspend, you know?
Talk to me, guys, man. We all feel.
Hey, hold on. Was giving up
the allowances, you know what?
Was giving up the card a part of the discussion?
Yeah. Well, no, I ain't sure I'm giving that part. Let me say it was. Let me say,
if it was, then she shouldn't be shocked. If it was part of the discussion, that you say, well, listen, hun, you know, if we running a tight ship here, we want to meet a certain goal. If you're going to overspend, then I think it would be best if you give up a card if you're impulsive. If that was a discussion, and then later on we come and we say, well, you know, you're overspending in April, and you went again in May, and June looking kind of iffy. So I think it is best for you to give up the card. But that's a different situation. Then you just take it upon yourself to come and say, listen,
but
give
in
me
the
that
example
charge,
you gave
because you're spending too
Romain,
much
she
money.
didn't say that he went over budget as well.
No, only she.
Only she. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 separate times.
Yeah.
So just curious.
But I agree with John Mark. You know, you have the discussion because I believe that everything is always fluid. You know, you revive, you adjust and move on. You know, you get to, like, if it was an issue, doing for the sake of your relationship. Try not to dwell on it, you know, but if you're going to sacrifice the mortgage for a Gucci bag, as you know, your priorities in the wrong place.
True.
You know, so it's like, have the discussion, communicate with one another, say, well, all right, I believe her, again, to the point where you're not being responsible and we may have to limit, you know? Yeah.
All right. On that note, I want to know your perspective on the female being the main breadwinner of the household. Would that impact you if your wife made more money than you? How would you feel about that?
Stay at home, I can do the laundry. Some more.
You'll be the house husband.
I don't necessarily have an issue with it. There were times in my relationship where my wife was the main breadwinner. My businesses went belly up early on, and I nearly lost my mind because this is something that I would have built and invested in, and it didn't work out or what have you. And my wife had to be carrying the loads. Of course, that didn't feel good. But I mean, if I was contributing, and I contributed in some, I did things, and Romain would know me. I do some things in my life, right? I fix cell phones. I sell cell phones, all sorts of things. I never went to school in a technician.
I love everything.
Did what I had to do to provide or to make some provision to my household. But at that point in time, my wife was out earning me. She was out earning me by leaps and bounds. But I didn't feel aware that she was out earning me. I just felt aware that, you know, I needed to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that I had a similar experience to John, because when we first got married, my wife and I both worked, and at the time our salaries, like, I think I was bringing in a little bit more than her, not a huge amount, you know. But since then, I had left that job to start my own business, and she automatically became the main breadwinner at the time. And Romain and I have had these discussions in the past as well, because he would have done his own business too. And as a man, it feels weird. Because and that's due to what we're saying, due to society, because you thought that as a man you're supposed to be the main breadwinner, you're supposed to be the main provider, you're supposed to do this, and so it does feel weird. It does feel weird.
For me, I had similar experience as well. I was the main breadwinner for a long while in the relationship, and I lost that job, and now I'm an entrepreneur. And at one point in time, my wife was the main breadwinner, you know, and I didn't have a problem. Even if she becomes the main breadwinner again, I won't have a problem with it. But I guess I've always been in a position where I provided for my family. I think I will continue to seek to provide for my family, even if it's in investing and doing other things, you know. But I believe a man should be working and helping his family forward.
Correct.
Communication is, as we say all throughout this life, different strokes for different folks. But I think once communication is there, that it can definitely work. It can definitely work.
And definitely in situations like that, we gotta go back to the respect. Talking about respect in a marriage, or just respect from women, because you know you put in a situation like that where as a man you're no longer the main breadwinner in the house, and you know society states you should be. You might feel bad about it, and you know it can be a kind of a low blow if a woman were to come to you or your wife were to come to you and say like, hey, I pay the bills in this house now, like stop talking. And at the same time, if you are the main breadwinner in your house as a man too, you can't undermine your wife. You can't tell her, hey, you can't do that because I pay the bills and so this is my money. Because for until you get married, it's not your money anymore, her money. It's our money, So you can't do things like that in finances.
Because I don't want it to be that we talk about females being go on for long discussing things because of your brain, and then we come on here and we go over 2 hours and we fast approaching 8 o'clock mark now. I know Russell disappearing all the time, so I ain't sure what's going on there. But
sorry, no, my cell phone dropped 10%, so I'm just gonna put when I'm moving locations.
Oh, okay.
So you get trouble.
Just give me a quick rundown. I can run through the end of this to give the male perspective a little highlight here. Tell people what the men does want. What do men want?
Love, respect.
And listen. Make sure we can answer this question here because when this question get posed to the women, I think it takes some time for them to answer. So,
nah, that question can't answer, buddy.
What question can answer?
That question can't answer.
What men want?
No, what do women want?
Oh,
women,
yeah. We ain't getting it.
We got you there.
We ain't getting it.
You went to a restaurant to order food? You went to a restaurant to order food and ask the wife what you want to eat?
Yeah. And then she said she wants all of yours.
Yeah. She don't want that. She said, nah, I feel eating that. I can get to an phrase there. Piece of that chicken.
Every time.
Yeah.
I could taste that is that sandwich?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you want, guys? Let me just keep it simple in a few words.
Yeah.
Is what men want or what women want? What's the question?
Don't forget to turn your camera, Russell. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
It started to get weird feedback there.
Yeah, I did. I know what happened.
Okay, cool. For me, we want love and respect as any other human being, and we just don't want, but we need sex for sure. The other,
you can stop there if you want to stop.
The other frills could change vary from man to man, but I think that's generally what men want,
Okay. All right.
Sorry, you go, Morris.
Companionship, that person that you can, I see my wife as my best friend, that person can come and talk to, we have that emotional bond. As the rest said, love and respect, but for me, it's like that person I can turn to, because like we as men, we are, male macho, but sometimes you need to, that person we can turn to and really share what's in our heart of hearts, that companionship.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with Maurice. That's what I was trying to talk before because definitely you want say no man is an island unto themselves, and what you want to really have that best friend, that person you can trust, someone you can rely on, someone that will be like a pillar there for you, even when you have low days, you really want that other half the person to support you as well. So definitely that's what we need as a guy.
For me, I think respect is definitely high priority. And I also think like a man needs to be respected. A man needs to feel like a man. In order to do that, I think he needs to feel respected. But also I think a man needs to feel appreciated. That sounds more like, man would say man as a female thing, but realistically, I think it's a man thing too. A man needs to feel appreciated. A man needs to feel like what he's doing is worthwhile. A woman sees his efforts, that sort of stuff.
Ego, the ego once in a while,
Yeah.
So once in a while, I mean,
speak that love language.
Yeah. The conception of men being so hard or what have you without feelings and emotions and so forth needs to go through the door. I think that's a major point that Romain has just mentioned in terms of feeling appreciated. Yeah. And I've done a study in terms of I did a study in terms of infidelity, why men cheat, and I found that a lot of men were feeling unappreciated within their relationships, and somebody on the outside, because you wonder, they have some situations where you see a man, he got a clean home, you know what I'm saying, the woman look good, and he goes out there and he comes back with his witch. and you're wondering what transpired here, right? What transpired, but you find little things that some women will overlook, like you come and you pick her up from at work, she just get in the car, and yeah, you had a long day with your cases, but a little thank you every now and then, say, honey, I really and truly appreciate you, coming through the traffic and so forth for me, is, we go a far way.
It's true. It's true. So then remember that respect, appreciation, we want the communication. Just remember that. That's our perspective on things. Also, I just want you all to share a bit before I close with my final finale. I want you all to share a bit on how it was like for y'all meeting the parents. Give me that experience. Give me that rundown. Go, Ras. Let me go first.
Is it meeting the parents, or this is when you want to talk about
meeting the parents, when you met the parents?
When you met the parents, or when you tell the parents that you wanted to get married?
At first, but my in-laws are very loving and they accepted me into their family.
Your in-laws are watching.
It was pretty easy. I would say the most nerve-wracking part of talking with them was when I came, because I came and I asked her mom and dad. I told them I was going to propose to her before he did it, and I remember doing that lunchtime during work. Well, I knew she was out, she was at work, and I drove there, and it's kind of babbling a bit, and they just kind of looking at you, and they say, so I gotta do it, I gotta put it out there. They told them, and I just remember her dad going like, "Whoa!" Her dad was just like, "Whoa," he was shocked at first when I told him what I was going to do. He's just like, "Yo, you just need to give me a minute. Let me
process this."
My daughter, no, they were really happy about it, and they were really welcoming for me into their family.
How was it for you, Maurice?
Well, meeting the parents, it was pretty good. It wasn't nerve-wracking. My wife's dad, he's pretty cool, and usually moms just love me, yeah.
Usually, bro.
So I usually come with a little offering, bring the cake or it's smart. Be smart about it. In terms of when I went to ask her dad for her hand in marriage, I actually wrote a letter. I didn't want to stick around to get the answer right away.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he's like this. He's more laid back, cool. All right, hey, give a call. He talk to you. And he came to my workplace and he told me, he appreciate what I did, and I actually let her know some secrets because my boyfriend know this. I know she glued to the to her phone probably. Anyway, he came to my workplace and when I was working where I used to work before, and told me, yeah, you can go ahead. We appreciate you. You seem like a good fellow. Yeah, so it wasn't a bad experience with the parents. And then her mom, when I met her, she was cool. They were sort of like giving me the once over to find out what the intentions are. Yeah, but it wasn't bad.
What about you, John?
I wish I had those beautiful stories there, boy. I remember my wife was 20 years old.
It's true.
I went to her mom. She was from a single parent home, raised by her mom. So I really had to talk to her mom. And I was recently converted, maybe 4 years prior. I was converted just the eve of 18. So I'm 22. So 4 years prior, I recently converted. And we all live in the same neighborhood, so they would have known me before. And I come from off the block, so I in a cup of tea that I had a cup of tea that you want to bring home. Say, yeah, mommy, I got one. So, it was nerve-wracking for me. And I remember the conversation very vividly as I went and I told her, mommy, I want to marry Josette. She asked me if I knew what I was doing for half an hour straight.
Same question.
In various tones, right? And told me how serious marriage was and if I know what I doing and where we can live and if I know what I doing and so yeah, man, that conversation was that was difficult. I think that I won her over maybe 10 years later. Um, yeah, I
10
don't
years?
think
Whoa.
I think she was cool at everything, right? But I still believe, like, in the back of her mind, like, this guy is not the one. But I've lived to hear her give me a greeting and thank God for me in the life of her daughter. That was a big thing for me because I knew from get-go I didn't have her total wholehearted support.
Yeah, you were the ideal figure.
I wasn't the ideal guy.
You were the block man, John Mark.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, in a life as we're all persons, in a life as we're all persons, we can see who they were, but not what God is doing. So you can't see who they are down the road. And I think that's one of the things that as males, we have to be very careful in terms of who we marry. We're just not marrying who Patsy is today, but you're marrying who Patsy will be down the road.
Yeah.
So that was it. But yeah, man, she came around. She came over. We got a pretty cool relationship. If you go on my WhatsApp stats, I got her up and so forth. So you know everything going good, right?
Hey, everything's good. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
For me, it was really her father. Her father, we were cool before, but you know, they got levels to being cool. They got
Yeah.
me being cool, and then they got, oh, so you like my daughter. That was a different level of cool, yeah. So it was interesting because I remember we being cool before, but then when things started to pick up with myself and Nikota, it started to get to a point where it's like, oh, you know, you gotta approach me now for my daughter, as in, you know, let me know what's going on with you and my daughter before I find out from somebody else what's going on with you and my daughter. So with that being said, a Sunday, I decided mine, all right, so what I can do is I can go home, right? And I can get ready. So at next Sunday at church, you know, everything proper. I think I got a haircut and everything. I had a lilac shirt. I made sure I get a lilac tie to match, you know, the strips to go back with the pants. And I was ready physically, but inside, I did nervous, boy. My knees did knocking. I remember after this, everybody complimented me first of all on how I dressed, and I just trying to play it cool, right? But after this service, no, I at the side door, because he's be at the side door. For those of you who go to my stay house or visit, you know he's be at the side door already. So I went to the side door and I was waiting, and the longer I wait, the more nervous I getting because he get closer and closer to the side door, but many people stopping him on the way, right? So when he got to the side door, it's like, yeah, I came to talk to you about, well, you know, Nikota. That's exactly how I say, right? And my guy can hit me with the, oh, we ain't discussing my daughter at the door. We can do this. You can come over for lunch. And we can discuss this man to man. We was in some chairs that I got designated in a particular part of my house. Man legit had chairs designated in a certain part of the house that he get for him mother. You can sit down in them chairs and we can have this conversation. Oh, how you get more nervous than that? And I remember going there and expressing him that, you know, I had feelings for his daughter, and he telling me that he's the kendo shooting range and all these things. You know? but I can't blame because I feel like I'll be the same with my daughter. And even for my when I went to ask him for my wife's hand in marriage, my guy gave me the you know, we in wait, I'm trying to remember exactly, but he told me basically that he was grilling me at first. He wanted a letter. That was the first thing. And apparently his mother, he wrote a letter for his wife, so he wanted a letter. So I had to end up writing a letter. That's making a long story short because of our time. But I will give you all our full story another time. But
You got
however,
that on video too, don't you?
what? Me going
The
to his?
whole, yeah.
No, I don't have that part on video.
Oh, okay.
But listen to this, guys. I spotted each of y'all wives, and this is how I want to end it, right? I spotted each of y'all wives. And thanks for everyone for sticking around for this long. I know it's a real time, a lot of time that has been spent discussing in my brain and how we think. But I spotted each of y'all wives, and I asked them some very specific questions, just a few. And I want to see if your answers are going to match your wife's answers. Yeah. So this is going to be the interesting part for me, at least. So the first question, guys. We can start with, let me see. We can start with Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
What did you wear on your first date?
Oh, a black Puma shirt.
A black Puma shirt. Oh, well, so what are you looking up? What are you looking up, Maurice?
I'm trying to remember.
She got a picture.
Why sign up there? So no, like, let me see.
I went to the movies. We didn't go to the movies. Our first date. That was a different first.
Boy.
We went to.
How come Maurice leaning like if they get lost?
The thing is, right? I ever asked him how we rate.
I think it was a black Puma shirt, though. A black Puma shirt. Yeah.
Look, my man just wait from bad to worse. A black Puma shirt right up the parts.
I see my man leaning like he get a lash.
Yeah. All right, John.
Hey.
What did your wife wear on the first date?
I don't know, fella.
How was the attire then? How was the attire? It was casual, it was dressy, it was what?
Big man, I don't know. This is 14 years in.
You gotta remember these things. It's the little things, guys.
What's it?
Russ.
Yo.
Talk to me about what your wife was wearing.
I can't remember exactly what I didn't remember exactly what she was wearing, but it would have been dressy because we had went to dinner.
It was a dress. She just said a dress.
I said dressy, so it was really close.
Oh, dressy.
3 years in, 3 years in, and he can't remember what he waved the ring. Yeah.
All right, we can start with Russell then. What's your wife's favorite color?
I know say she doesn't really have a favorite.
Any more to that though? Like if she had to pick one?
If she had to pick one, pink blue.
All right, she said she doesn't really have any, but she likes deep, rich colors and tend to do red and blues.
She saw it, got that.
All right, if you say so.
John, I said she would say she wouldn't have one, so yeah.
John, what's your wife's favorite color, sir?
I don't think my wife got one, man.
You don't think your wife got a favorite color?
Nah.
You get one right, John. She said you don't have a favorite color.
Right.
I got my right.
What's Crystal's favorite color, Maurice?
All right, if you can see behind me, they got a blue M and a pink Kia. Pink.
Pink, yeah, you got it right. It's pink. It's pink. John, you realize every boy got like some sort of crest or sign behind them and said, you know what going on? Going on there, John? Like, Jesus, show them, John. All right. Who said I love you first?
I did.
Russell says he said I love you first. You are correct. Your wife said you said I love you first. Talk to me, John.
I would think that my wife would say I did. I don't believe that she would put herself out there in that position. So I can be, you want to say I did.
So you saying you did because you remember, or you saying you did because you think your wife would say you did?
No, I say I did because I know my wife.
Your wife said you did, man.
Correct.
Talk to me, Maurice.
I gave a point here so now, the 9th of November.
She's on bread, boy. I'm going for the kill.
It was
I will hop on you, better finish it.
I did.
You did. Wonderful. Although she said, she thinks she said, I love you first.
Aye, point deducted.
I got points because I can remember the date and everything.
You can remember the dates? You sure remember that sheet? All right, cool.
But you have to remember, Remain, Crystal was counting before Maurice. Move on.
All right, so we can start with Maurice this time around. This is the last question, by the way. What was the date of your proposal?
Oh, easy. It was our anniversary, the anniversary of the day we met, August 9th.
Interesting, because she said August 8th.
8th, right, sorry, 8th, yeah.
Give or take 24 hours.
No, August 9th. It's August 9th. She's wrong. August 9th.
He's
Because
right.
we met at a birthday party, a picnic party of my godson. It was his birthday is August 9th, right? I have proof of that because I invited the guys to my proposal. I have it recorded, so yeah.
Sure.
August 9th.
Talk to me, John.
That would be February 11th. I think that was her birthday. A strange thing for us is that I didn't usually have to propose. We knew that we were going in that direction, but I cooked her dinner for her birthday.
Oh gosh, and she made it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did dinner.
She might know her name.
That was February
You put
11th.
any food so she would say yes.
February 11th, 2005. I mind you.
Okay, well, she said February 12th. She
Yeah,
wrote
12. I
No,
can't.
like the cat.
I know how this year got mixed up, right? Her birthday is the 12th and the anniversary is the 11th.
Whatever
So,
you say,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover.
I started sweat.
Yeah.
I started sweating.
Started sweat.
Talk to me, Russ.
November 25th.
What year?
Don't worry, Russ.
20,
Mathematics.
Take away the 2.
Yes.
Say
I'm bringing
17.
one.
Yeah. You sure it's 2017?
100%.
She didn't give me the date. The year. I just had to pick you for a minute. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for being on, man. It was a pleasure to have you all on with me. I really appreciate it, to be honest. I think we did a good job at explaining how we think. And as a result, I just use this time to just speak blessings over those who are watching. Oh, sorry. Speak blessings over those who are watching. I speak continuous blessings over you guys. Thank you very much for your support, first of all. Just going to end it with saying that I pray the Lord's favor upon you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you, and be gracious unto you. Lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you his peace, now and forevermore. Yeah. So thank you very much for tuning into the Male Brain. I don't know if there's any closing remarks that anybody else wants to say.
I just want to say thank you for letting us be here. And definitely as a guy, especially as a Christian guy, it's good to have level-headed friends you can talk to. Like only 4 of us are able to meet up. You gotta have a good support system as a guy. If you have good friends that are leading you down a good path, stick close to them, you know?
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, thanks very much, guys.
You're welcome.
A pleasure, and thanks everybody for tuning in. So that will be us for now. And I hope that you share it with a friend and look forward to many more of these types of sessions so we can discuss.
Correct.
Signing out, guys.